Hi there, you're back here again with English Coach. I'm Simon, and today I'm talking to you about ways in which we can refine our energies or recollect our energies. So, I'm actually posting this video today. Today's Monday. It's at the very end of August, and the new month will be September, happening this week, September 2022. So here it's the winter in the northern hemisphere, it's the summer, and it's a scorching hot one as there's droughts and things like that. Generally, the winter is a time that's less motivational for me. I feel that I have less energy in the cold, but everybody on this earth is different. So we have people that feel that they get more energy in a warmer climate, and those that feel that they get more energy in a colder climate. And this is something very personal, and something that we have to respect about ourselves and be aware of, knowing our own behavior and knowing how we will react in certain climates and certain places, versus other climates and other places. Um, Today, I'd like to bring together a recipe for this week that you can either take with you or leave it. And what my wish or my objective is for those of you that are watching this with interest in taking something away today is that you see what these words mean for you and see my interpretation. See if you can reflect or conjure a deeper meaning to these words for yourself, take them away, and see which ones are significant and meaningful for you to continue having energy, a lot of energy, until the end of the year. And maybe until, well, let's say until the end of the month, maybe until the end of the year. Let's not be too optimistic, okay? Optimism is really important, but realism or being real is also really important. So the first ingredient is vigor. This is a word that maybe has two or three different meanings to it, but one of the meanings is to have that energy, to have that solidness in you that seems to break down and give you energy over time. So visualize it as perhaps coal, burning coal that's producing energy, producing heat for your body. Imagine this as you would, okay? So this word vigor, or you being vigorous. What does that mean? How would you get more vigor in your life? What do you have to do to get that? So that's the first ingredient in our recipe today, vigor. The second one is logic. Now, it's not exactly logic that I'm talking about, it's logic over emotion. What does that mean? Often we have decisions in front of us that we make that can be based more on our mood or our emotions, especially when we're feeling bad. And if we are sucked into giving an emotional response or deciding on or making a decision based on emotions and negative emotions, often the results very, very bad or can be a lot less of an opportunity or less advantageous if we make a decision based on our emotions, on our negative emotions. Okay? Whereas when we step back and pretend that our emotions are not playing in the game and see what would be the best advantage or opportunity for ourselves in that situation, then logic is the key. Logic is that valuable commodity, if you like, in the human brain that we can use in daily decisions, even those decisions that make us feel uncomfortable, under pressure, sabotaged, and all the rest. Logic is still going to give you the best results, and those negative, frustrating feelings that you have from negative emotions are going to generally further sabotage you and take away opportunities that could be yours. Okay, so the next one that I'd like to give you is resoluteness. Resoluteness is therefore making, it's also connected to decision making, and that's make a decision in a resolute way, and that resoluteness be the ingredient of your week. So when you're making a decision, you make it intentionally, on purpose, and with this kind of conviction that that is exactly what you would like to do, and that is what you would like to uh, say or impose or defend, that you can actually be 100% sure about that. Sometimes it's really important, not just for your self-esteem, but it's really important to take a stand on an issue that has been clouding your life or delaying something else important in your life until now. So resolution, or being resolute, or resoluteness, this is another ingredient, okay? And sometimes we cannot make those decisions, and we have almost the opposite situation in which we have to be, and the next ingredient is patient, or as the noun, patience. So we have to have patience, or we have to be patient. Choose one for you. If you're a person who wants to have patience or be patient. Now, this is really underestimated. Being patient is not at all easy. It's not easy to be patient. There are so many things that we want now and we cannot have now. And what are we training when we're being patient? Not just patience. There's other forms of self-discipline being trained in this moment. And therefore, if you are a person who's working to be more and more patient in their lives, you will find that things will come to you. Of course, you need to go out there and find opportunities, but you also need to be patient while those opportunities manifest. So, patience is another one of those fine ingredients. It's something that I hope most of you can take with you in this week and all through September, and be able to hold on to that and see value in being patient and testing yourself and learning how to be a little more patient. The next one is very, very hard to continue doing over time. It connects with your personality, it connects with your inner values, and that is being principled, or having principles. So having principles is incredibly, incredibly important, because you can get, or you can feel, the essence of yourself through your values or your principles. Whereas if you don't have any kinds of principles, things that you say no to, not because they are not interesting or advantageous to you, but because they go against your principles, that's important. If you just say yes to everything, even those things that go against your principles, you are not living authentically to yourself in that moment. Okay? And you need to know what your principles are. You can't just randomly feel them. If there are things that you're not sure about, things that we see in society every day that we don't really agree with, but we don't have any hand in, or we don't participate in trying to stop or trying to improve situations that we see are worsening or they are bad, then we don't have principles, and we're not living in a solid way. We don't walk our walk, or we don't talk our walk, or walk our talk. Third time lucky. But you know what I mean. We don't put that into practice, and putting things into practice is the most satisfying thing that a human being can do, because they can see that they can prove what they're saying is true. And proving things to others is okay, but proving things to yourself is even more important. And you do that by being principled, by having principles. Okay. Lively. So, lively, I'd like to take something from Rumi. Now, Rumi was a very famous philosopher, spiritual teacher from the Middle East and Turkey. And Rumi would say something like, everything you do in your life should be done with love. Now, what does that mean? That means that you are present or aware of what you're doing, and you're getting some form of satisfaction that you're trying to increase as you do whatever it is. Of course, you may be learning, you may be having difficulty in doing whatever you're doing, but that you get to enjoy it, and that you tell yourself that it would be better for you to be engaging as much as possible to try to get satisfaction out of that. That's about being lively for me. So it means do what you're doing with life, with love. This is from Rumi, okay? Um, anyway, I won't spend any more time on that because I think it's pretty obvious. The next one is engaged, which connects to being lively as well. But engaged is, if I could give you a definition to remember this week, engaged is when you tell yourself that the task that you're doing right now, the thing that you're doing right now, is important, and that you should give, like I said with lively, 100% of your energy or your effort to that task. But that you start doing that before you start almost planning in your mind how your attitude is going to be. So lively is more like in the present, being present with where you are and giving energy and giving life and love to that thing that you're doing. Being engaged is more like telling yourself how important each task is and looking at those things structurally as well, you know, not just the priority side, but like giving importance to them, giving the importance that you can to them. Now, I should have said this before engaged, but the next ingredient is attentive or attentiveness, and being attentive and not sneezing while you're making a video. You know, that it just seems ridiculous to sneeze in the middle of a YouTube video. Anyway, being attentive. Being attentive to whatever you're doing, and that means being very aware, and also not just looking at what is your purpose during the task, or what's that internal list of things that you need to achieve or accomplish during the task, but also what's going on outside of you. Is the other person like interacting with you on the same level as you want to interact with them? How are they receiving you? That's the attentiveness that we're talking about here. We're not talking about be attentive to your own sense of progress or your own sense of how things are going. Here, when we talk about being attentive, we're saying, what is the situation outside of you? You know, what are the environmental conditions? Is the person, or how are the people that you're dealing with? Are those people responding to you in a positive or a negative way? Are you really listening to them? And is there evidence that perhaps you're not? Okay, so let's go through the list again. And these are some of the ingredients that might be useful to you this week: vigor, or being vigorous; logic, or being logical; resolute, or resoluteness; being patient, or having patience; being principled, or having principles; being lively, or having that love or that zest for whatever you're doing during the day; getting engaged, deciding that you're going to invest energy into things before they happen as well; and being attentive, seeing what kind of impact you're having with the other people that you're talking to, and whether your rapport's working, or whether there's something wrong going on outside of you that you're not aware of or you're not paying attention to. Being attentive, okay? So that's my list today. I have to thank you for being here, watching my video today. If any of this was surprisingly helpful to you, please send a message in the chat below, or at least like, right? And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. It's been a pleasure. Have a really good end of August and a fantastic beginning to September.